I want to talk to you. Well, before I start, I want to ask Akua, or whatever spiritual people that you believe in, to bless us in this meeting. And I want to welcome the discussion from anybody here, no matter the sands of your birth. And I want to hear or help all of you in the sound of my voice to listen to what I have to say. I have three things. Well, before I do that, I want to mahalo the people that held this meeting for us Hawaiians to discuss our future. Out of these, there's three things that I want to talk to you about. First, what we Hawaiians were. Second, what we are now. And the third, what can we do for our future? What is the decision we have to make? First, what were we? When Kamehameha conquered all the islands, he really established a sovereign nation. Now, thank you to all the Native American tribes, but that's a different political situation than yours. We love you and we thank you for your support, but we had a different political situation. What is a sovereign nation? There's three things. You have a fixed border, you have a definite population identified, and you have international recognition. That Hawaiian nation had all three. It had a fixed border, island chain from Big Island all the way to Midway, including Palmyra and Johnson Island to the south. That's our border. International recognition, 39 nations, including the United States of America, recognize us as a sovereign nation. Third, we had a definite population. Were they all indigenous? No. One of them is my ancestor, Isaac Davis. He was Hawaiian. He didn't have koko. The way a lot of you say, you have to be Hawaiian, you have to have the blood. No. Kamehameha said, no, they're Hawaiian. After Kamehameha died, things got changed. But then Kamehameha III came along, and he did something that was different. Kamehameha I was an absolute monarch. Everything he said was law. He made every decision. When Kamehameha III came up, he did form a constitutional monarchy. If you go and read that Constitution, it's great. It's almost the same as the United States of America. All right? And it included other howlites. Nobody, some of them, no Hawaiian blood, but they were included. They were Hawaiians. All right? Now, we come to the last part. Actually, Kalakaua signed the Bayonet Constitution that reduced the power of the Mogi, or the king, gave it to the legislature. So when Liliuokalani came back, tried to reestablish the power of the king, she was, quote, overthrown. By whom? Primarily American businessmen that were elected to the legislature. Right? I call that regime change. It's not overthrow. Overthrow implies you're gone. That political is no longer there. But if it's regime change, you are under international law because you have relationship to other nations. And the adjudication for what happened is in the international court, not the Supreme Court of the United States. I read the preliminary things you put up for us. And you tell the truth, mostly, and not the whole truth. You said in the paper that the Republic of Hawaii ceded lands to the United States. Well, who the hell was the Republic of Hawaii? Who voted them in charge of Hawaii? Did any of your ancestors vote? They declared themselves the ownership of Hawaii. Well, that's funny, because that same illegal government asked the United States to be annexed as a territory. That's the truth. And for 4 years, the United States said no for 4 years. But then the Spanish-American War came up. And from that conflict, the United States says, we need a coaling station because we're fighting in the Philippines. And you can't sail all the way to the Philippines from the West Coast. So by a voice vote of Congress, they accepted the annexation. Now there's a question. Was that a legal acceptance? You had one legal, recognized international country annex it, another. Well, is there a dispute? Who adjudicates that? Not the U.S. Supreme Court. It's the World Court. Okay? Now let me talk about that overthrow. And the paper you provided starts to define who we are as Hawaiians. They had a problem. The ceded lands wasn't owned by that republic. They were really owned by the crown, whoever was king. They had government lands that were supposed to be for the people of Hawaii. Well, who is the people of Hawaii? Other citizens or subjects of the monarchy. All right? Now what? Is that the only ones? What about all the tourists that came in? What about the other people that flowed into Hawaii? There were what? Under 20,000 people? Most of them subjects of the monarchy. So products of the ceded land should go to them. But what about the rest of the people coming in from the United States? They move and live in Hawaii. Did they get the benefits of the ceded land? That's what the court said. All right? Now let's look at that. What are we going to do about it? There was something else that came about when they wanted to define who the native Hawaiians were. They passed a law, federal law from the United States, 50% blood quantum. Look around. Who has 50% blood quantum here? But guess what? None of my children, none of my grandchildren are Hawaiian by that definition. Right? So, what are we going to do about it? We have to form some government to make our claims to identify who Hawaiians are. Now you have a problem here, because a lot of people say, you can have the koko. I say, no. I say, any person that was a subject of the monarchy is eligible to be part of this new Hawaiian nation we want to form. So, in answer to your question, I say no. I don't want the Department of Interior to help us write a constitution. We can do it ourselves. We did it before. Twice, 3 times actually. We can do it. We don't need your help. Another thing, warning to those of you who are going to be part of that organization that's proposing to be a nation, a Hawaiian nation. It's not a native nation. It's a Hawaiian nation because of the way I just told you. You are open to, or people are eligible if they are descendants of anyone, no matter what the koko is, that descended from one of the subjects of the monarchy. So, again, in answer to the DOI, no, we don't need your help. We need to form our own government with our own people and decide. Now, when that nation forms, they can write their own constitution. They have to determine who is Hawaiian. Because if you go to that koko, then you're back to becoming a native Hawaiian region. And in that case, you should ask the DOI for help. Because if you look at the paper they sent out, they're there to help native Hawaiians form their government. Key word is native. What's the definition? 50% blood koko. Well, wait a minute. They have gone through the process before. And the process is not race, blood. It's whoever you decide is part of your nation. Isn't that right? And if you do that, if you insist on the koko and the blood, you might as well go the way they're recommending. But whoever forms our government, you have to decide. Which way do you want to go? Now, let's get back to reconciliation. No ands, ifs, or buts. We have to reconcile with the United States. You have to. Don't bring in anything else. Militarism, the geo, don't worry about that. That's beyond your pay grade. Just talk about the Hawaiian nation and your relationship to the United States of America. If we form our government, I want them to first ask. I want government-to-government relationship, but I want government-to-government relationship between us and the state of Hawaii. Why? Because they control the ceded lands. They are the trustees. What are you doing with the ceded lands? Where is the income that's flowing from it? Does it belong to everybody in Hawaii or to our Hawaiian nation? Secondly, what about the ocean between the Big Island and all the way up to Midway? If we own almost half of the land, which is the ceded land and the government land, shouldn't we own half the ocean? That's a rule. Who owns the ocean? The United States of America, not the state of Hawaii. So you have to have some reconciliation there. How do you do that? You have to form your own government and follow the court procedures. That's the way you have to go. And it's going to be long and hard because we don't even agree among ourselves. Out here, much less when you get a bunch of them back together in Hawaii. But that's what has to be done. So, I leave that to all of you to ponder, think about, and you can go back to the sands of your birth, wherever you come from.